We were here 3 years ago before the last disastrous decision to allow media ownership rollback, and we came to Seattle and we held a hearing. It was one of the best hearings we held anywhere in the United States. It was one where people were extremely articulate, extremely educated, and if anything, we've come a long way since then, thanks to the efforts by community groups like Reclaim the Media, and thanks to leaders like Jay Inslee, who is one of the true fighters in Congress for media democracy in this country, along with his colleague Senator Maria Cantwell, who's on the Commerce Committee, which has jurisdiction, and of course Frank Blethyn from the Seattle Times. These are some of the nation's leaders on this issue. We want to have the voice of Seattle as loudly expressed as possible in the halls of the FCC regarding this issue, because there's so much experience, knowledge, and wisdom out here about this issue. I was thinking about this as I flew out here. I rented a movie to watch, the best movie I'd recommend to you on media consolidation, A Prairie Home Companion. And in this movie, if any of you watched it, you'd see that there was this great little homey show that was being put on in this town in St. Paul, Minnesota, with all the local flavor and all the local artists that had been there for years trying to perform. And this big radio conglomerate out of Texas decides to buy up the station and basically eliminate the show and get rid of all the local talent. And one of the women in the show says, when this show goes, pretty soon there won't be anything left on the radio but people yelling at you and computers playing music. I think we're already there. What you see, and it's a tragedy, is that you are getting increasing homogenization, not only in radio but in television. And think about what that means to a community like Seattle. I mean, this is the home of grunge music. I'm a big fan of rock and roll myself, but the way that movements like grunge or, say, Motown in Detroit first get started is by these local artists being heard on local radio. And when local radio stops playing local music, and it sounds the same in Seattle as it does in Detroit or New York or anywhere else, the opportunity for local artists' voices to be heard is eliminated. The opportunity for the voice of the community to be expressed through its own media outlets is lost, and those talents could be lost forever. In other words, the country will be deprived of the benefits of hearing the greatest fruit of creativity from this area and from every other area in the country that has been affected